Good? All right. So I just hit my top triple on bench today. Wednesdays are usually my shitty bench day. But I had this incredible idea because I know you guys are just fiending for this to give you 3 essential tips to a good bench. Okay, now, before I get into them, I'm going to try and keep this video as short and sweet as possible. But before I get into them, I have to preface this with something very important. I am not an expert. I do not consider myself to be an expert. I've only been training for a little over 8 years now in a bunch of different styles and have only been powerlifting for under a year. So take what I say with a grain of salt, seriously. But these are just things that have helped me. Okay, the first tip, something I learned very, very recently from the owner of the Hercules Gym out in Syracuse. Once this shit's all over, if you live in the area, by Syracuse or by Hercules Gym, please check it out. It's a fucking sick gym. Anyway, it was when I was going for a 450 bench press at the time. That would have been my max. It still technically is, although it wasn't a true pause. So anyway, one thing that he told me was to bring the bar towards my face. What do I mean by that? So when you bench, right, and you're here, especially for guys that come into themselves instead of just straight back, when you're coming in to your chest and you're bringing your chest to the bar, right? You're down here, blah, 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 blah. When you press, you have this natural tendency to create that J motion, right? You don't want it to be a straight line. You're coming down and then up, right? Your elbows flare out. As they flare, bring the bar to your face. Guys, I swear it works like magic. You'll see it in some of the videos that I'm going to upload along with this little clip. My training videos from today, I'll try and make it really clear and point it out from the angle. But either way, you're coming down here. As your elbows flare out, you're bringing the bar to your face. Don't just press out, right? Press towards your face. Okay, that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. Why are you laughing? Tip number 2. Okay, my videographer unfortunately finds something very funny. It's probably my fat face. But anyway, tip number 2, breath. Okay, a lot of people say benching is about having a big back. It is, but it's also about having a tight back. I want you guys to do this little exercise with me, okay? I'm gonna stand this way, that way you guys can see my contraction. I want you to have your hands out like a zombie, right? Like really, really relaxed, just have them hanging. Now, take in a big deep breath, like you're gonna unrack, like you're getting ready for a squat or a bench. You're gonna brace. When you do that, contract. So it's gonna look like this, nice and relaxed. Super contracted, right? Now, when you do that, as soon as you're completely contracted, I want you to exhale, release. Do you see what happens? You're gonna feel it. You can't fuck with yourself. You can't joke with yourself, right? You're gonna feel it. Your entire body has no option but to relax. You lose your contraction, okay? This is a huge problem when you're benching. Why? Because when you lose your tightness, you lose all of your strength, you lose all of your stability, and quite frankly, you're gonna get injured. I know because it's happened to me. So, how do you fix this? This is something I've been working on since last summer, so almost a full year now. What I do is, especially on my volume sets, I take my massive breath and brace before I unrack. So, I'm sitting there, I set my hands, set my feet, get my ass tight, my back is tight. Unrack, bring it over, hold it, hold my brace, hold my lockout, come down, nice pause, press. If I have volume, usually I can hit like 7 or 8 reps, but if you're just starting out, aim for that first rep, aim for that second or third. The idea is to hold your breath and hold that tightness as long as humanly possible. I swear, if you guys can do this and do this efficiently, it's gonna change the game for you. Okay, the third and final tip I have for you today is frequency. This is something that is gonna be general knowledge for most powerlifters, but for those of you who just train for sports performance or just general fitness or bodybuilding or anything like that, this is something that you may not have known, so pay attention to it. You want to train, if you're a guy, you want to train at least 3 times a week on bench press. Again, this is not accounting for injuries or pre-existing injuries or anything like that, but the common, let's say, belief is that you should be training at least 3 times a week. Your chest can handle more frequency, your triceps can handle more frequency, they're smaller muscle groups, so they recover faster. That's the basic premise. If you're a woman, you can train up to 4 times a week or more. There are some studies that suggest that women can handle more volume. So the bench frequency is really, really important if you want to build your bench press. Now, one important thing on that is that you don't do the same shit every single time you press. What you want to do is you want to, let's say, have one day where you're just doing high volume stuff, right? Or volume that's relative to the phase that you're in, the block that you're in. Another day where you focus on variation, close grip, extra wide grip, maybe incline, could be anything like that, right? 2 count pauses like I'm doing today, things like that. Then your third day, or at least one day in that rotation, is gonna be something with higher intensity, meaning higher weight, maybe lower volume, obviously, things like that. So maybe you hit a top triple, then you go down to a 2x4 with a pause, and then you go down to a 4x6 at RPE 6 or something like that, and you call it a day. Guys, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that didn't sound too confusing, but again, take this all with a grain of salt. I do not consider myself an expert by any means. However, these are just things that have helped me. So again, if this helped you in any way, or if you want more content like this, just drop it in the comments. Let me know. Thank you. This is the second set of my back downs. In this video, I'm going to try and show you guys that bringing the bar to your face motion. I will, of course, be holding my breath and my brace throughout the entire movement as I did in the top set. So pay attention to that as well. But yes, hopefully this angle will showcase that bringing the bar to your face motion much better than the top set did. Big breath and brace. I'm going to hold it.